into your hands.
What's up everybody, welcome to another camera comparison video. Today I have this Motorola S30 Pro, Realme GT Neo 3, Oneplus 10T and Oppo Reno 8 Pro. Yeah, actually I live in China. In China, Oppo Reno 8 Pro is known as Oppo Reno 8 Pro Plus. But in global market, Oppo Reno 8 Pro Plus is known as Oppo Reno 8 Pro. Yeah, I hate this different type of name for different type of regions thing. But anyway, today we are gonna do a massive camera comparison between this Motorola S30 Pro, OnePlus 10T, Oppo Reno 8 Pro and Realme GT Neo 3. The reason behind adding this Realme GT Neo 3 is actually the price of Realme GT Neo 3 is the same as Motorola S30 Pro in Chinese market, and the price of Oppo Reno 8 Pro and OnePlus 10T is also very similar in global market, which in my opinion is way too expensive. And yeah, if you go through this camera comparison video, you will get surprised, you will feel frustrated, you will feel confused. But I believe if you are looking for a value for money smartphone, then definitely you will choose any of these two. I'm going with this Motorola S30 Pro because yeah, I have also done a separate review video of this Motorola S30 Pro. You should watch that video. I believe this Motorola S30 Pro is a budget monster, the king of budget flagships. Anyway, without wasting any more time, let's start the camera review of this Motorola S30 Pro. But before everything, one request. If you end up liking this video, then please don't forget to click on the like button and please subscribe to this channel. Yeah, there is an international smartphone giveaway going on for the subscribers of this channel. All the details are given in the community tab of this channel. Well, let's start from selfie videos. Did you know that Motorola S30 Pro can record 4K selfie videos? Amazing. What's up everybody, welcome to another camera comparison video. Today I have this Motorola S30 Pro and OnePlus 10T. Motorola S30 Pro is way cheaper than OnePlus 10T, but this video on Motorola S30 Pro is recorded in 4K. Yeah, 4K. Motorola S30 Pro selfie camera can record 4K selfie videos. Isn't it great? I don't know when Oppo, Vivo, OnePlus, these brands will start providing 4K selfie video options in their smartphones. Wow, Motorola is doing something good. Anyway, let's check carefully which smartphone has rendered my skin tone correctly, which smartphone has wider dynamic range, better exposure, and which smartphone microphone is performing better. Listen carefully and make a comment in the comment section below.
If you work for it, it's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they...
A few days ago, me and Kim has taken some similar photos when we have compared Motorola X30 Pro with Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. We have tried to recreate the same photos with Motorola S30 Pro and Oppo Reno 8 Pro. More or less, we have got a very similar result. Motorola is owned by Lenovo, a Chinese brand, and definitely has added a bit of a skin fairness and skin smoothing, but that's nothing compared to Reno 8 Pro's beauty effect. Along with heavy beauty effect, Oppo Reno 8 Pro has warmer color temperature and vibrant color grading. Altogether, it seems punchier, but Motorola S30 Pro has reproduced photos with true-to-life colors and perfect skin tone. In terms of exposure, contrast, and sharpness, Motorola S30 Pro is way ahead. But if you need social media ready photos, then Oppo Reno 8 Pro is the one you should choose. I prefer natural and true to life photos with more detail, so I would go with Motorola S30 Pro. Motorola S30 Pro is a proper upper mid-range, while OnePlus 10T is a proper flagship. At least price tags of these smartphones indicates this. However, price tag has nothing to do with real-life performance. Motorola S30 Pro has better exposure, more detail, and well-processed textures. Motorola has managed to produce a crisp and clear video clip even under a harsh lighting condition. Stabilization is the only issue of Motorola S30 Pro. 这个是给大家看，还有什么水果呀？这个水果的呢？Okay, before we check night mode photos, let us check more photos of human subject. Both of these two smartphones have beauty effect and it's almost similar. Both the OnePlus 10T and Motorola S30 Pro have managed to process photos with a lot of detail on the subject, but white balance and skin tone of Motorola S30 Pro is way better. Motorola S30 Pro has reproduced almost perfect skin tone. The problem is, Motorola S30 Pro has higher contrast and photos are a bit underexposed. On the other hand, saturation is usually higher on OnePlus 10T. White balance is also a bit too warm. OnePlus 10T has continued to produce photos with very high midtones and vibrance. If you check carefully, Motorola S30 Pro human photos are better with more detail, sharper textures, better skin tone and higher shadow detail. Change of place, change of smartphone on the left. As usual, Realme GT Neo 3 has continued to surprise me with amazing performance. It has lots of detail on the subject and textures are sharp enough. Motorola S30 Pro with better skin tone, natural white balance, minimum beauty effect and more detail on the subject is ahead of GT Neo 3. But Realme GT Neo 3 with eye-pleasing color grading and similar detail level has fought neck and neck with Motorola S30 Pro. Considering all the aspects, I would surely stick to Motorola S30 Pro.
Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand, and damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder, and all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down.
Even if S30 Pro has wider dynamic range, it has a few issues like over-sharpening, high contrast and high exposure along with poor midtones. Motorola S30 Pro selfie photos are nowhere near perfect. It's really worse than many other budget mid-range smartphones in harsh lighting condition. Realme GT Neo 3 has more detail, sharper textures and better color grading, but Realme GT Neo 3 has added way more beauty effect than Motorola S30 Pro. We have tried to grab some selfie portraits in a very harsh lighting condition and OnePlus 10T has stunned us. Side by side with OnePlus 10T, Motorola S30 Pro has awkward color tone mapping, less details, very high brightness and soft textures. Altogether, OnePlus 10T selfie portraits are better than Motorola S30 Pro. Some of the differences are preferential, but we cannot ignore that OnePlus 10T has more detail and sharper textures along with true-to-life colors. But there is a flip side of the coin. Even if Oppo Reno 8 Pro Global Edition costs the same as OnePlus 10T, it has worse selfie performance and Motorola S30 Pro selfie camera seems like a monster beside this Oppo Reno 8 Pro. More detail, sharper textures, better skin tone, better edge cutout, creamy bokeh and better exposure. Altogether, Motorola S30 Pro selfie camera actually performs very good in soft lighting conditions. Time for daytime ultra-wide photos. On the left it's OnePlus 10T which has OnePlus's traditional color tint and overprocessing along with saturated colors, while Motorola S30 Pro has wider dynamic range and better exposure. In terms of detail level and shadow, obviously Motorola has done better. White balance jumps back and forth and in general S30 Pro color grading is better than OnePlus 10T. When compared with Realme GT Neo 3, I am surprised to see Realme GT Neo 3 has managed to reproduce better photos than OnePlus 10T. I was truly surprised. Anyway, color grading of Motorola S30 Pro is truly amazing. It's neither saturated nor pale, perfect balance of contrast and brightness, enormous detail and faster focus metering. I think Motorola has finally found the correct algorithm for their smartphones. Motorola S30 Pro comes with a OmniVision OV50A 50 megapixel main sensor. Huawei P50 Pro also got the same main sensor. OnePlus 10T got a Sony IMX766 50 megapixel main sensor, and it is truly surprising that the differences are almost down to the personal preferences. As Motorola S30 Pro comes with an old generation SoC, it has a bit weaker ISP. So it's almost shocking to see that S30 Pro has perfectly reproduced almost every scene. OnePlus 10T photos with saturation and over-sharpened textures are good for social media, but Motorola S30 Pro photos represents reality. When we have checked ultra-wide photos, we have already noticed that Realme GT Neo 3 camera performance is even better than OnePlus 10T, as both the Realme GT Neo 3 and OnePlus 10T got the same main sensor, Sony IMX766. I thought OnePlus 10T would perform better, as that one comes with a better ISP. But the truth is, Realme GT Neo 3 has really performed well. In some occasions, it has almost beaten Motorola S30 Pro. In general, S30 Pro grabs more detail, textures are processed with clarity, white balance is neither too warm nor too cold, exposure, dynamic range, shadow and color grading, everything is really better than any of its competitors, but there are two issues: highlights management and midtones. If Motorola can fix this, then S30 Pro will be able to compete with its bigger brother, Motorola X30 Pro. None of these smartphones comes with a telephoto lens, so these phones depend on the main sensor for all zoom photos. These are 3 times zoom photos, and I'm overwhelmed by the performance of Realme GT Neo 3. It has reproduced very good zoom photos. Kudos to Realme for extracting such an amazing performance. Motorola S30 Pro has also done well, but that's not comparable to Realme GT Neo 3's top-class performance. Realme has excellent exposure and synthetic processing, shadow, textures, brightness and contrast. Everything is nearly perfect. On the other hand, OnePlus 10T, the super hyped, overpriced and overrated superphone, has performed on par with Motorola S30 Pro. In some harsh lighting condition, Motorola has managed to maintain exposure and pulled a stunner, but OnePlus 10T, the heavyweight superphone, has even failed to compete with Motorola S30 Pro. If you are already overexcited about this Motorola S30 Pro, then here comes a massive hit. Motorola S30 Pro has totally failed in 4K. Color grading, white balance, exposure, stabilization, detail level, shadow detail, textures, brightness, skin tone, nearly everything is not as good as it should be. I'm slightly disappointed. Realme GT Neo 3 has continued to deliver top-class performance. When Realme has released GT Neo 3, I have compared it with Redmi K50 Pro. After all these months, Realme has polished its camera algorithm with updates, and GT Neo 3 is now performing like a true budget flagship, even if it's no way anything more than a mid-range smartphone.
If you like this video, please give me a like. If you like this video, please give me a like.
Once we are down to 1080p, Motorola has performed well even in low light environment. S30 Pro has better exposure and color grading, while OnePlus 10T has more detail and sharper textures. Motorola S30 Pro stabilization may not be as good as OnePlus 10T, but it's definitely better than any other smartphones in its segment. Oppo Reno 8 Pro has a price tag of $550, and I think that's the biggest joke of this year. I'm surprised that some peoples are trying to find some points to justify the price of Oppo Reno 8 Pro. I am speechless. Check these video clips clearly and let me know in the comment section below if Oppo Reno 8 Pro Global Edition costs more than $550, then how much should Motorola S30 Pro cost? Cause it's clear that Motorola S30 Pro camera performance is far better than Oppo Reno 8 Pro.
I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all want a ring. Yeah, we all want to be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart? Are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs. Are you willing to go bleed?
Back to OnePlus 10T versus Motorola S30 Pro. Battle of proper flagship versus budget flagship. These photos were taken in night mode of both these smartphones. In comparison with other mid-range smartphones, it was easy to get steady shots with these two phones. I always recommend all of my viewers buy a smartphone that comes with OIS, cause sometimes that matters the most. After cropping in, it should be very easy for you to understand Motorola S30 Pro actually has performed better than any other smartphones within its own segment. OnePlus 10T has also done well, but due to difference in algorithm and processing, results are different. Motorola S30 Pro has better exposure and sharper textures, while OnePlus 10T has continued to have exposure and brightness issues. Sometimes Motorola S30 Pro has performed better and sometimes OnePlus 10T has performed better, but in general, S30 Pro is the winner. Check the amount of detail, exposure and contrast. S30 Pro has done better. I know, sometimes colors and white balance are not on the perfect line. Those are down to personal preferences and sometimes can be edited, but you cannot add detail. You cannot add clarity and definition. My subscribers and regular viewers, they know about DENS. Detail, exposure, noise and shadow. After checking tons of night mode photos, it is clear that S30 Pro has done better in low light. Detail, exposure, noise and shadow, everything is better. Trust me, I didn't even expect this type of performance from S30 Pro. None of these smartphones, I mean Motorola S30 Pro, OnePlus 10T and Realme GT Neo 3 comes with a telephoto lens, so I really didn't have any high expectations. After checking a lot of nighttime 3x zoom photos, I would rank these smartphones like number 1 Motorola S30 Pro, number 2 Realme GT Neo 3 and OnePlus 10T in number 3. Motorola S30 Pro has better exposure, more detail, fantastic color grading, better texture processing. Yeah, that's the most important part, cause all these are digitally cropped in images, so texture processing plays a heavy role in digital zoom photos. I am truly surprised by the performance of this Motorola S30 Pro, cause in daytime it has almost failed, but it has performed in nighttime. Nighttime zoom photos are actually tough to process rather than daytime zoom photos. Finally, another nighttime video. On the left, it's OnePlus 10T and on the right, it's Motorola S30 Pro. I have checked these video clips at least 25 times and every time I have checked these video clips, I had the same question in my mind. Why does people praise camera performance of OnePlus 10T? Don't they have a Motorola S30 Pro in hand? Can they really try to compare S30 Pro with 10T and share the truth? I am tired of repeating the same thing. Yes, one more time. Motorola S30 Pro has done better and delivered a very crisp and clear low-light video clips with better exposure and higher detail level. What do you think? Which one is better?
Yo, let's go. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring. Yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart? Are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs. Are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now.